I'm Bryan Ballinger, and I have an exhibit at Jennifer Ford Art called Forgotten Observations, and it's a bunch of my photography. Forgotten Observations refers to kind of the way that I approach the photography that I do, where I'm trying to kind of slow time down a little bit and get people to look at things really closely. So whether that's moving in really close on some floral elements, or it's this picture of this little doll in an interesting situation, or taking pictures of things that you might normally overlook and kind of get you to take a look at them from a new perspective, or just take time to really take in exactly what's going on in the image. I've been illustrating for about 26 years now professionally. So really the stuff that I'm most passionate about is the children's books, especially I also write children's books, so I get to write and illustrate them. So far, my favorite illustration project has probably been Animal Gas, which is my latest book that just came out. I love both illustrating and doing photography. The illustration, what really drives me with that is that I have control over everything that's going on, and I can build my own world with my own characters and just feel like I'm kind of stepping into that. With the photography, I'm working with stuff that is already there, but it's how I interpret that. So I don't have quite the control that I do with the illustration, but I'm working with something that's real, and it's actually more spontaneous, actually, the photography is. So I work more quickly with my photography, and I'm doing more exploration as I go. Whereas the illustration stuff, I might have an exploration going on at the beginning, but then I have to focus and actually plan it out more. And they both kind of keep me going, whereas I might get a little bit burned out with one, and then I can switch to the other, and I'm using different parts of my brain, and it really helps me a lot. Part of the draw at first with photography was the immediacy of it. I'd have it right there. The other thing that drew me to photography is that it's not starting with a white page. And so you're starting with something, and then you're manipulating it and changing the perspective on it. And that is so much fun. I have an affinity for melancholy. That's definitely one thing that comes out in my photography a lot more than my illustration work. I also like that tension of two seemingly opposite things and where they might overlap. So I'm taking pictures of people and flowers and things. So there's this life, but then there's also death. So you've got these things that maybe there's a sense of sadness or loss or something like that. And I think that intersection is really powerful for me personally. And I think that definitely comes out in the photography, which it does not come out as much in the illustration. There's something about starting with nothing, no parameters at all. It's extremely difficult. Put an artist in a box, and then all of a sudden you can explode with creativity because you have these boundaries and parameters that you have to work within, and then somehow it frees you up. So when you're working with photography, you've got these boundaries. This is the image that you're starting with, and then you get to kind of move around within that. So I think that's a big part of what drew me to photography.